Common sense isn't gone. It just needs a comeback. Common Sense Superheroes with David and Greg.
Me in, coach. I'm ready to play today. Look at me. I can play center field. That is, I really don't know who sings that, but I do know that it's opening day, baby, of baseball tonight on Netflix. That sounds odd, does it not?
It does, and for some strange reason, I think that might be some sort of John Fogerty or in the Beaver Brown Band or something like that. That's a random one, but I think that might be truthful.
If the beaver is brown, you're on the wrong side. I'm just saying, you might want to go the other, flip it over. I don't know where that came from, Greg. How dare you set me up like that? You set me up.
All I did was respond to trivia.
Tonight on Netflix, the New York Yankees take on the San Francisco Giants. Aaron Judge, beast of a man, versus Luis Ariza, who's the best hitter in baseball stat-wise and can't stay on a team. Don't make any sense. Coming fresh off his win with Venezuela.
Dude, I have, and I guess maybe because of the WBC, I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to spring training or anything. And it's like opening day has almost snuck up on me. And I'm like, holy crap, we're here. Like, I'm ready to roll, dude. Baseball season's always fun. I think the older you get, obviously, the more the nostalgia kicks in. And baseball has always, from an athletic and a sports standpoint, been the one constant in my life since a kid growing up watching the Braves back in the 80s. So yeah, spring training coming to a close and opening day of baseball, man, it ought to be a national holiday in my book.
It should be. And it does seem like it went by pretty fast as far as spring training, which is thankful because normally in years past, you're like, my God, how many times do I got to watch number 72 play shortstop? They got these wild numbers. You're like, they ain't never making it with that number. But
Well,
I'm
hey, we
thankful
had
that it's
just
here.
enough spring training to make sure one of our starting pitchers got hurt.
Of course, Spencer Strider's on the IL again, strained oblique. How about we stop doing squats, bro? Maybe throw a plank or two in there. What the hell's up with all these obliques? He's
I
trying to
mean,
snap that curveball is what he's doing.
I
You
know
don't
you're
snap it,
jealous
you
of
just let
Spencer's
it go.
squads, but don't be telling dude to stop squatting. Just because you skip leg day don't mean he should.
Jonas Boschman would come through the thing and slap me, Mr. Squat himself. And he's got something. I mean, listen, props to you if it matches, but the man's got some long ass feet, Spencer Strider. When he's up there and he's setting the damn thing, takes up the whole mound. I'm like, okay, Spence, got that old
You know what they say.
Clemson hammer girl. I mean, listen, I ain't mad at you. I'm a little jealous, maybe, but I ain't jealous of the fact that you get hurt all the time. Hell, I can do that, and I do that, but I'm not a professional athlete. So, of course, we always start out behind the 8 ball with the Braves.
Think you have, or I say you just because I like to blame it on you. I think we may have set a new Common Sense Superheroes record because we got this show off track within the first 3 minutes and we have no idea where it's going already.
We do not. I will change. We'll get back on a track, back on somewhat schedule, which there is none, by the way, in case you're wondering how much
I
research we
think they
do.
know.
Literally 45 seconds before we start, I'm scribbling, Greg's sitting there, and that's it. That's the gist. I mean, hopefully we'll get a little better. But Greg, I, as a TV watcher and lover, and mostly of documentaries, but as you've pointed out, I will watch a Taylor Sheridan show, which we might get to. But the other day I was watching on, it was on Disney, but I think it was History Channel originally. It was a documentary slash biopic of FDR. And it was impressive because, FDR, the 32nd president of the United States. And I didn't realize two things. One, that he married Eleanor Roosevelt, which was Teddy Roosevelt's niece, I believe. So Theodore Roosevelt was FDR's uncle, and Eleanor was his cousin.
In fairness, David, I'm pretty sure back in those days they didn't have Tinder, so the selections and the opportunities to meet people was probably a little
True.
more limited. So you probably didn't venture out as far to find those that you would end up loving.
It was just odd. Like at that level of stature, as far as, you'd think they would. It wasn't the royal days. I get the royal days. They were all banging each other, but that wasn't the point I was getting at. At the tender age of 39, which is really nothing, something else I learned. I knew he was obviously paralyzed via polio, but I for some reason in my head, I thought he had gotten that as a kid and stayed and was paralyzed from the get-go. But no, he wasn't paralyzed until the age 39 and was
Yeah, I
able
believe it
to,
happened. Yeah, it was later onset, and that's why they made such a big deal of
yeah,
trying to hide it during his elections and when he was running and stuff. And it's
hit it the
weird to think about because we're so plugged in and so aware of everything now. It's hard to imagine that there's probably 80% of the population back then did not even know that the president was in a wheelchair. Like because
yeah.
you didn't have that sort of access, you didn't see that sort of thing, and unless he was live and visiting your town and you happened to go see a speech, most people never knew because all you would know of the president was what you saw in a photo of the newspaper.
Well, and he did do a couple speeches, one being, I guess, the Democratic National Convention, if they what they called it back then, or what turned into that basically. He got up and it showed the devices he had, which was literally basically, I mean, it made Forrest Gump look like he had nothing on. It was straight leg locks, just your legs lock in it. You could not move it, could not bend it. And he worked at it over and over because he was determined to get up and stand up in front of the crowd and to deliver a speech. And obviously they knew something was up because you can't bend your knees, you kind of walk. He's holding on to the edges of the table to the point where he's just like digging his fingernails in, holding himself up with just all arms and delivering a speech and overcoming so much, but he did not want people to see him in that condition and base that off of whether they would vote for him or not. He knew that he was there mentally and could do something, but he did not let a disability hold him back. Quite impressive.
I can obviously respect his diligence and work ethic and commitment to the cause of trying to portray an image and strength for the country. But if you study your history, he gets kind of glossed over for what a really terrible president he was. He's one of the main reasons why we have a lot of the issues we have today with the big government and things way out of control.
He
His
came up
47-year tenure in office was a real problem that it gets glossed over because people want to talk about the heroic story and the overcoming polio and becoming president. He was awful at the job. Let's be real. How the heck he got that many terms and kept getting voted? I just can't understand.
he was around the time of the Great Depression, and it was a tough time, but you're ruining my point, Greg. You're ruining my point. That wasn't
That's
my
what I do.
gist of what I was
That's
getting
my
at.
purpose on the show is to ruin every
My
point you
point
make.
was that the man, we could go into the whole Warm Springs, Georgia. He brought the little White House down. He did a lot to help people with polio, especially a lot of kids. Did he bang some other chicks on the side? Yeah, he fell in love with somebody. But look, Eleanor wasn't getting the job done. Eleanor, one of the first ladies that actually stood for something and actually you learned about. But that's not my point either, even though we could go into that. My point was he did not let disability hold him back. Okay. You know who else did not let disability hold him back? That is
I'm
one
aware.
Dayton Weber, 27 years old, quadruple amputee, lost all his limbs as a baby due to an infection. You know what he went on to be, Greg? You think quadriplegic, what is he going to do as a professional athlete?
I gotta come clean, David. I had actually seen the original ESPN story on the guy, so I was a little familiar. But then when you texted me yesterday about his the latest situation, I'm going to let you tell the story because I think I've got what is ultimately a little bit of a unique take on this, possibly. But tell the story about who this guy is, what he has become as a guy who legitimately has no limbs. I'll let you tell the story, and then I've got a unique twist on this.
Dayton Weber, quadriplegic. You think, well, there ain't much he could do. What's he going to do? Some kind of mouth sport or something like that? No. Cornhole. My man went on to be a champion cornhole player as a quadriplegic. Dadgum impressive, okay? I mean, did I laugh and chuckle a little bit when I saw him throwing it? Yes, I did. I did, but I was ultimately was impressed by him.
David, let's
Now,
just for the sake of on the off chance that there is someone out here listening to this, which that's your first mistake. But then let's say also they may not know what a quadriplegic that is. Literally means you have no function over any of your four limbs. You have no arms or legs that you can utilize in a functional purpose.
he's got.
And
I'm
this
not going to
dude
do it
became
because it looks
an
bad.
elite level national cornhole player. That's pretty impressive. but not as impressive as his next feat.
He had some nubs. If he's a reporter, Trump would make fun of him. Okay, is all I'm saying. On the night of March 22nd of this year, he got into an argument with one Bradrick Wells as he is driving the car. First off, no disrespect to Dayton. No disrespect. I'm not riding in the car with you if you ain't got no arms. I'm just calling it. I'm just saying. I mean, we can get in a Waymo together, but I don't think I'm gonna get in the car with you if you're a quadriplegic. I know you probably got a lot of buttons, but you ain't got fingers. Do I not mean to remember that you ain't got fingers? As he was driving a car, Greg, an argument ensued. Somehow to the point to where Dayton Weber, again, quadriplegic, driving a car, somehow find a way, as they were still going, I don't even believe they were stopped, turns around and shoots Bradrick Wells and kills him.
There are things that you know to be factual occurrences, and no matter how powerful of a computing mind you have, you simply cannot find a way to envision it or see how in the world that would happen. I was impressed by a dude who has no arms and no legs becoming an elite level cornhole tosser. Like, that's pretty damn cool. But this dude has no arms, no legs, was driving a car, aimed a gun, and pulled the trigger and shot somebody. And unless he's some sort of Marvel superhero that we just hadn't heard about, you're going to have to explain to me the logistics of how he pulls this off.
First off, it's not, stop laughing. It's not funny. A man died, Greg. Okay. It's not, stop.
He ought to have the most epic tombstone ever, dude. You got to tell that story on his tombstone. I got shot by a dude driving a car with no arms and no legs. He aimed a gun at me, pulled the trigger. How do you not get out of the way? How do you not see it coming, David? Like, you can't be a real quick draw when you ain't got no arms.
Reportedly said, I'll be your Huckleberry right before he did it.
Say when.
Man, listen, not funny. And my heart goes out to Bradrick Wells, but when you get up there to St. Peter, you got to be like, hey, man, really? If getting shot by a quadriplegic cornhole player doesn't get me straight into heaven, I don't know what will. I'm just like, overcoming adversity is what I'm saying. Not only to become, no disability is going to hold me back from being a cornhole player, and also no disability is going to hold me back from being a murderer. And apparently he pulled over and tried to get the other three guys in the car like, hey, we got to get rid of this body. You got to take it out. I'm like, first off, hell no, which is what they said. It's like, hell no. And they got out and was like, I'm out of here, and started flagging down folks. Probably I would have took his gun. I'm just saying, I would have took Dayton's gun if I was the guys. But you want to hear another piece of this puzzle that is pretty damn amazing, Greg?
Yeah, I mean, you haven't completely exploded my brain yet.
Again, talk about overcoming a disability. He becomes a professional cornhole player. He finds a way to shoot a guy as he was driving a car. The guys did not want to help him out. They got out and flagged down cops. It was like 10 miles later down the road. They ended up finding Bradrick Wells' body in the front yard of somebody's house. Now explain to me.
Of all the conspiracy theories I have tried to wrap my head around, this may be the most challenging one. There's so much of this logistically that I just can't compute.
How did he get his body out? How did he drag out? They had to be teeth involved. He had to lock on to his collar with his teeth and army crawl in the yard. It's not funny, Greg, and I really wish you'd stop laughing because it's not funny.
This entire episode could have been recorded on a dash cam, and you would be unable to convince me it's not AI. I refuse to believe this. It is a news story that I know to be true, and I refuse to believe it.
You got to give the man props.
You should see the look my wife is giving me right now. You should see the look on Haley's face. Oh, this is not going well, Dave.
It is not funny. You need to stop laughing. A man has died. Almost a hero.
I had
And
always
listen,
hoped that on the day that the good Lord calls my number, I had kind of just hoped to go
I
peacefully
hope
in my
this.
sleep. But my goal now is I want to top this guy's story. I want to be taken out on an even more legendary way than to get
Listen,
shot in a car by a guy driving with no arms, no legs, who's a professional cornhole player.
and look, I don't consider myself a tough guy by no means,
Neither do
but
I.
if I was okay, well, that hurt a little bit. If I was to, God forbid, go to prison, and you hear the stories about going to prison, I'm using my hands, my feet, whatever I can to get away from a dude named Bubba in the shower. Now, Dayton, bro, you ain't got a chance, man. I'm just saying. Everything you got's wide open. There ain't no dropping the soap. You are the soap.
I mean,
No protection.
you taking some chances there because this dude seriously has some kind of mystical powers or something. He may look like an easy target, but I wouldn't mess with him after what he accomplished.
Well, he getting banged in prison because he ain't got nothing he can do, nothing he can stop. I'm just saying, you can't throw on nobody. They don't give you guns in prison, Dayton. You gonna be somebody's B word. I ain't gonna cuss with Haley in there, but geez Louise, he getting banged, bro. That's all I'm saying. Dayton ain't got a chance. Big Bubba's coming after you, bro. You got no defense. Lock and snap don't work when you ain't got kneecaps.
But I bet he can win some good stuff at the commissary with some local in-house cornhole games.
Boy, he go well,
He could probably hustle up some good cigarette deals.
there'll be a game of cornhole, but it won't
Exactly.
be the game he's used to. It won't be the cornhole he's familiar with. It's gonna be something else.
Hey,
Oh,
David, let's talk
man.
about Taylor Sheridan shows.
Oh my gosh. Just give it up to overcoming disability. I
I
gotta
can't
give
wait
him
to see how
props.
you turn this into a motivational speech for your youth baseball team.
Listen, it's happening. It's coming.
This guy could have just
Speaking
relegated himself to being second base instead of playing second base.
oh, that's grand slam on him, my friend. He is oh man. But speaking of arresting people and going to jail, one guy who was not arrested, which initially when I first heard about, I was like, well, you got to arrest this guy. It makes no daggum sense. And when you saw the first video that came out, I was like, man, he is screwed. That is, we talked about him a couple weeks ago. Alan Rickson,
Rickson.
Rickson. The CH is a K sound, I guess. And maybe there's a C. I don't know. Alan Rickman, who is known as Reacher, and also in a horrible movie, Greg said, War Machine.
It's
But
awful.
if you've seen him in Reacher or in any other shows, you know that this is a specimen, a freak of a man. And even if he's fake fighting in the shows, knows how to fight. And if I was somebody, if I saw him riding around, I'm in Brentwood, Tennessee, let's just say, where he lives apparently. Which every time I hear Brentwood, I think of Brentwood in California, and I think OJ, who did kill Nicole. Just saying. Ronnie Taylor is a neighbor there, and he sees this guy riding by on a motorcycle with his young kids, apparently speeding through the neighborhood, according to Ronnie. He said he yelled at him a few times. Then Ronnie's like, you know what? I'm gonna take matters into my own hands. This dummy not only goes out in the middle of the street and tries to stop him, it's as if he gets out, jumps in front of him so much so that Alan falls off his bike. So he's already ticked off. Now, first off, Jared, would you try to stop somebody on a motorcycle by standing in front of them? We're not talking like a two-stroke, small motorbike. I'm talking about like a Ninja or a Ducati type.
No, I think I have enough common sense to ascertain in that moment that there's only a handful of outcomes if you do something like that, and none of them are any good because the most likely outcomes are either he plows over you and that's going to suck, or he kills himself trying to avoid you, and then I'm pretty sure that's an illegal issue that you don't want to be dealing with.
That's what he was doing. Alan was saying, he's like, listen, what are you doing? With obviously some choice language. He was like, what the hell are you doing? Like, you jumped out in front of me. I could have killed you. And then this guy went on, Ronnie Taylor went on to talk about how you keep flying up and down this road, blah, blah, blah. It's unsafe. I'm like, bro, get out of the road. They're not coming into the sidewalk. But anyways, he keeps on and keeps on. And you can see Alan's trying to the first video just saw the aftermath, which is him beating the absolute dog shit out of the guy. And you're like, man, well, you can't be doing that. You're Alan Rickman. You're a badass. You got a name. You can't be going around punching people for no reason. And then when you watch, that's what all these guys that ride dirt bikes or motorcycles and all that, they all GoPro shit for safety issues and probably just to put it on YouTube. But he had a GoPro camera and a body cam. And I'm guessing old Ronnie didn't think about that because halfway through the video after he got the shit beat out of him, he said, you're on camera, as if he set up the guy across the street to film it was it was very edited to see just the part where he got the shit beat out of him. But this guy kept coming at Alan Rickman. And he has his 2 kids with him. Now, you want to get a father upset, start talking shit about him right in front of your kids, or you talking threatening tone around somebody's kids. Well, as expected, he beat the shit out of him, Greg.
At the risk of turning something in a direction we don't need to, I'm going to have to assume that this dude has to be a leftist voter. Like this has to be a Democrat voter that just is a keyboard warrior and just doesn't understand. There are repercussions to real world things. You can get online and say stuff, but I'm sorry, if you jump out in front of Alan Rickson on a motorcycle and then proceed to challenge him man to man, whatever happens to you is on you, my friend. That's called reality, and that's called circumstances and consequences of your own choices.
He claims that he did not know that's who it was. But even if you did not, even in a damn leather suit, you could tell he was a badass dude, which I call foul that he thinks it was. He did. I think he knew exactly who it was. I think maybe he saw a payday. I don't know, but it was a nice neighborhood. Dude, you can't do that. And by the way, if somebody pulls out in front of me with my kids there too, I'm probably busting some shit up too. I'm going ham as well. But I I feel guilty because the first video came out and it just showed him beating the crap out of him, and I was like, "Man, come on, man, you can't do that." But after seeing the full story, which I almost was guilty of posting something before I saw the full story, which is what everybody seems to be guilty of. Once you saw the full body cam video, which has been a savior to a lot of people, you're like, "Hey, man, you should have beat the hell out of me more." And cops agreed and said it was self-defense.
Well, and I respect you for learning your lesson and taking a deep breath. That's one of the things I've been preaching to people is slow down. Let's see if there's some more information out there because what you're first presented these days is almost always only part of the narrative and not the entire story. Everybody's coming at something with an angle, and you can almost bet you if it's put out onto social media, if it's put online for consumption, there's an intent behind it. And rarely is that intent positive these days, unfortunately. So thank God for body cams for cops and law enforcement officers. Thanks God Alan Rickson had one on there so that we could get to the actual truth of the matter these days. Because that's a sad thing that, it's who sets something up like that? Like, and I don't know, man. It's a sad world. But yeah, slow down, see what's out there because almost invariably somebody's spinning something, and you need to dig a little bit deeper. You'll find out yourself looking like a fool.
I almost did the ultimate sin, which is what we or blame other people for, is the fact that I knew that he was so far leftist in his views, and I read that article on him. I was almost wanting him to get arrested and be like, see how they do? But I didn't. And now I'm glad I didn't because I would have been wrong. And I apologize. I'm Reacher, if you're listening, I'm sorry. I was gonna judge you based off half of what I saw and most of what I read as far as you being a leftist, and I apologize. That's bad on me. I learned my
That's
lesson, Greg.
That's very mature of you, David, because I think that's something that you, me, we all do these days. We take a little bit about what we do know about somebody, and then we think that we can fill in the gaps and know everything else there is to know about them. And you and I deal with this all the time. I mean, online people think because I support Trump, everything else about that has to be like, people connect dots that have no business being connected and aren't even real anyway. But I respect you. You're taking the high road on this. You took a moment to see what the real story was, and you didn't immediately jump on a chance to throw down a lefty. Good for you.
Speaking of socials and getting into it with people, we have a short or a little clip going around about we were criticizing Trump for what he said about Robert Mueller. And almost every one of the comments say the exact same thing, which is, "Oh, so now you're upset? Now you're gonna say something?" I'm like, "How about the fact that we're able to criticize the guy that we actually voted for and say anything negative? How about you give us a little credit for that?" But you're not going to get credit if you say something. You're not going to get credit if you don't. So I damned if you do, damned if you don't. But I love going back and forth with them.
Well, the other side of it was, and it just goes to show one of the other underlying problems is even after the entire video was me condemning him for the classless statements, you had people say they didn't even pay attention to what we were saying. They come on there and they're criticizing us for supporting him. I go, the exact tone of the video was me saying, yes, I voted for him, but I do not support this because as conservatives, we can compartmentalize. We can like some things and not like other things, even if they're kind of linked together. It's okay to be that way. Multiple things can be true at once. They don't always have to be, like,
I know.
but yeah, I think he's done a great job as president. But I do wish he presented himself rhetorically a little better. I do wish he was a little more quote unquote presidential and elegant because I think it would help the greater good. But if given the choice of someone who speaks like Barack Obama and acts like Barack Obama, or someone who speaks like Donald Trump and acts like Donald Trump, guess which one I'll choose?
Yep. The amount of people that come out and call us morons on both TikTok and YouTube. We even had a chick from Australia come at us talking about how dumb we are and how, our country is better than your country. I'm like, we're not going to get in an argument with Australia, okay? I mean, let's ease up there first off. But I love going on there and agreeing. I'm like, yeah, that guy's dumb. I was like, which one are you talking about, Greg? Yeah, he is stupid. I don't know that guy. Hey, the amount of moron and effing idiots is just hilarious. It's like, it looks like anybody can get a mic. I'm like, yeah, it's called Amazon, MFer. Go get one.
Yeah, $70 here with 2 days. And now I'm a professional.
Oh man, I love it. It's the greatest thing. Keep throwing hate. If you don't have haters, you ain't doing something right.
Well, and at the risk of blowing it all up before it even gets started, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but for those of y'all who think you're doing something and irritating us by coming on here and saying that shit, no, trust me, all we want is the engagement. I don't care what you say as long as you're saying
Greg,
it.
don't give it away. Let them think they're doing something bad.
Oh, it hurt my feelings, David. I laid up crying all night last night because what that one guy said. It almost made me consider shifting my sides, and I might start voting on the left in 2028.
Dang near. You saw me I was about to go pick up Alan Rickson and help him out because he needs my help. I'm just saying, the dude's gonna be playing cornhole in jail, and it's not a good cornhole. Oh, that story. That's a good one. Another good story, which I have a little bit of issue with, because all yesterday I kept seeing was, oh, Tiger's back. Tiger's making a comeback. Tiger's back at golf. I was like, oh, damn, am I missing something? Like, is he getting set up for the Masters? Is he gonna go play a tournament down in Palm Beach or something? No, it was not. It was a damn simulator golf, Greg, which you watched.
I did. I'll tell you, and as a rule, I am more of a purist and a traditionalist when it comes to sports and things of that nature. But I also think that this is such a unique thing because golf, for whatever reason, has always been kind of golf and tennis have been different levels of sports as far as the ability to get to know the personalities and stuff like that, because it's always had that kind of elite, like country club status. But to kind of get inside the ropes and hear these guys talking to each other, picking on each other, the format could use some tweaking. The technology's a joke. I mean, I've played some virtual golf, and you'll hit a shot, and I mean, I'm not near as dialed in as those guys, but even I know sometimes it just doesn't read correctly.
Admittedly, you're breaking up, and I didn't hear anything you said that last little bit.
Are you back?
I'm back. I'm sure what you said was absolutely genius, but I didn't hear a word of it.
Yeah, I think it's on there. Just talk about they could tweak the format a little bit, but it is really cool to see those guys, just the way they interact with each other and cutting up, and to think that, to see them be able to be a little bit more laid back than they typically are in between the ropes of a normal tournament. It is cool. I enjoy it. Can y'all get off?
It is cool. I do like it. I don't watch it as much as I should, but my issue was the fact that they kept saying comeback, Tiger Woods comeback to golf and all that. Yes and no. I'm like, we don't need ESPN breaking in every 2 minutes talking about Tiger's back when he's just going to play a damn golf simulator. I mean, but as a guy who tore his Achilles,
obviously, yeah.
I was saying as a guy who tore his Achilles and now my left leg looks pretty jacked up as far as like not that there was like any muscles there to start with, but I definitely have like flat legs now and they're super skinny. But when I see Tiger Woods' leg where he got in that accident and all the surgeries he has, man, it looks just awful. I don't know how he's walking on it. It's weird to see a Tiger Woods, Mr. Badass, with that kind of limp.
It is, and I think any of us, and especially those of us who were, diehard Tiger fans and have been since day one, he is such a unique cultural phenomenon in the arena of sports. Tiger, Michael, there's been very few like him. I think realistically, we all know we have seen the best. We will likely never see him at or anywhere near his top again. But you can catch glimpses and you can see moments, and you always have that little voice in your head that goes, "There could be another 2020 Masters type thing. There could be another one of those moments that he could put it all together maybe for a weekend and thrill us for a while again." And we had to hope for it because it would be great entertainment.
Those simulators must be pretty damn accurate because I saw him before the tournament practicing the stinger. I guess where they were playing had something like a shot where you had to go under a damn mountain, I guess, but he was practicing that famous stinger shot that he hits. And I'm like, how does it know that he's hitting a stinger? Is it something like on the game where you got to put in that you're shooting a stinger?
It's a there are some highly sophisticated cameras that literally they pick up the impact, the ball speed off the club face, the spin rate, and it's just instant mathematics that they go, all right, with that ball speed, that spin rate and trajectory and everything, they just do the calculations. Uh I people have questioned how legit is it. I mean, I follow golf pretty regularly. The guys that are doing it at that level, they know their yardage, they know their numbers. They would be telling you if it was off. I mean, if again, and I've played a couple of simulators, and there's times where you'll hit a pitch and wedge, and instead of 140, it'll go 110, and you go, I felt like I caught that pretty good. And so it's not always accurate, but they would not have this set up with those level of players and not have it dialed in because those guys would raise hell because they know, like, if they're trying to hit it 87 yards and you say they hit it 85 yards, they'll argue with you.
I need to have my nephew, Cody Smith, come in and talk about it because he is the owner of Forefront Golf Solution. I keep saying that. Golf Forefront Golf Simulators, uh, putting in these things for some badass basements. And there's a lot of places they'll go out to Oklahoma, wherever you need them to, but just a bunch of badass golf simulators. Uh, Bringing the ultimate golf experience to you. Check them out, forefrontgolfsimulators.com. But I need to have him on because I'm sure he knows all the details about it. I know he knows how to put them in. They can be screwed. You can fake the numbers a little bit because I recall like going to Dick's Sporting Goods. This was several years ago, plenty of years, and it was probably a new technology, but they were trying to. You could tell they had some kind of sale where if you sell so many of this driver, that we will, hook you. You will get some kind of bonus or whatnot. Because he was trying to sell me a. I don't know. Let's just say it was a Dick's branded, driver, not like one of your TaylorMades or anything like that, but and so he's like, "You wanna come hit a few?" And I was like, "Well, yeah." So he gives me like a Big Bertha or something. This was back in the Big Bertha days, and I hit a couple Big Berthas drives, decent. I hit 250, 275, somewhere in that range. I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, these are pretty accurate." And then he hands me he's like, "Now this one here, try this club, okay?" And I get it, and I see him over there, like, daddling with the numbers. Hit the exact damn same shot, nothing different, probably sliced to hell and back. Damn thing went like 342 right down the middle. I'm like, "Do you think I'm a dumbass? Do you think I'm that stupid?" I
I
bought
think he'd
2
already
of them.
answered that question.
I bought 2 of them, and they didn't work like that. I was like,
Yeah,
"Damn it, I'm about to rack up." And he lied to me. "Damn it, Tim. I remember your name, Tim. You got me. You got me good, you fake ass golf simulators."
yeah, I've been in that position a couple of times going to buy a driver, and as I said, when you go spend $500 or $600, you'd like to get it out in the wide open and see the ball flight actually go. But sometimes the simulator is the best option you can get. But yeah, I've always wondered that, and I had a similar circumstance with it. I was testing a TaylorMade and a Titleist side by side, and he just goes, "Hey, we got this knockoff." He goes, "It's made by the same people. They just don't slap the same label on it." And he goes, "Hit it too." And the same thing. It was 10, 15 yards longer than the TaylorMade or the Titleist.
You're
And he goes,
like,
"You want to go
"Come
with that
on."
one?" It was $150 cheaper. And I go, "Yeah, I'll stick with the name brand. Give me the Titleist."
Oh man, they tried to get me. I did get it. It did not work just like that. You said TaylorMade. Speaking of TaylorMade, Taylor Sheridan is all over the place, baby, making show after show. The Madison, Greg, telling you need to get on it. Michelle Pfeiffer. Before we even get started, let me just say this. Michelle Pfeiffer is about to turn 68. And 68 don't look like it did when we were kids, son. Michelle Pfeiffer getting it done at 68 years old still looks great. But have you watched The Madison, Greg, on Paramount Plus?
I have not. I've made the commitment that I'm only going to allow myself to consume 1 or 2 Taylor Sheridan shows per year, so that way I can kind of draw it out a little bit. Because I think you watch one a week now, and it's overkill, man.
How dare you judge me?
This is going to sound like an odd take, and I don't mean this in any way disrespectful. And she absolutely looks phenomenal, but I would have thought Michelle Pfeiffer was older than that, honestly. Just because I feel like, I mean, I remember her as a kid, like when I was young, she was hot and a grown up. I would have thought she was in her 70s by now.
That's what I'm saying. You got to give her props, though. But even if she's not 70, she's 68, but still. Remember when I think the Golden Girls were like 55 when they filmed that show, and they looked like they were 102. Like
David,
whatever technology as far as cosmetics and things like that. Kudos, ladies. Good grief.
David, I had one of those moments this weekend. We were up in North Georgia tooling around in the mountains, and I was walking through an old antique store, and I started really going, "Oh shit, I remember all this stuff." Like I remember as a kid going through antique store, and the antique store had old stuff. Well, now I'm going through antique store, and I'm going, "This is my stuff. This was stuff I played with." So I think the moral of the story is I am officially an antique.
Well, bingo bongo, the connections run deep between you and Taylor Sheridan, somewhat. There's a 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon, somewhat. I guess because we were talking about Ella J and things like that on the show, it popped up on my Facebook as far as like East Ella J or Ella J, and it was actually an antique store. And it was like, we had a visitor today, and I can't remember his name, but it's the guy that was on 1923 that was the lion hunter guy. He was actually in Ella J the same time you were. I guess they're filming a movie up there. So you could have ran into a guy who works for Taylor Sheridan as you talk shit about Taylor Sheridan.
I mean, with the volume of shows he's putting out, I think he might have given me a job or at least offered me a shot.
I mean,
he's got to need cast.
Right behind my house here, Tulsa King filmed at the park lately. And that's another Taylor Sheridan, Sylvester Stallone type. But there's a new Taylor Sheridan. I think he's the executive producer, not the director or anything like that. But Dutton Ranch with Rip and Beth coming out May 15th, baby. I cannot wait, Greg. I watched the Yellowstone Marshals, I watched Tulsa King, and I watched Madison. Just because I watched 3 shows simultaneously don't mean I'm a Taylor Sheridan super fan, Greg.
No, and I will absolutely get into this one. Going back to Yellowstone, the character development and therefore the ability to spin off the shows and getting into the 1867 and the 1923s and they've all been phenomenal. If you watched Yellowstone, the thought of a show focusing on Beth and Rip, you could not watch it. Like you're so tied to those characters and the development at that point, you're going to have to watch it. There's no way I'm not going to watch this show. But I'm behind on his stuff right now because there's just so damn much of it.
Did you watch Yellowstone, the original series? Jamie, the son, the one that was like the lawyer and ran for. I listened to a podcast with him on it, one of the Apple News podcasts. He was the actually only one that grew up kind of like on a ranch as a cowboy, and was the only one that knew how to ride a horse when this all first started. And he turns out he gets the role where he's hardly on a horse. He's not even the cowboy guy. He's like, I'm the most cowboy guy here, and you got me being in a damn courtroom in a suit. The people having to learn, like Casey and them got to learn how to ride a horse. I will teach them. Like that. It was pretty hilarious that he's like, well, I thought I was going to be on a show about a ranch. I thought I'd be the guy because I'm a rancher, but Apparently
Well,
pulls off crazy brother
well,
love
I
letter.
have personally witnessed the effect that Taylor Sheridan has had on you, and I can only imagine the countless other millions of middle-aged old men like you that he has made want to go be a cowboy out in Montana or Wyoming.
Well, you say middle-aged old man. You know, I'll post something with the quickness as far as like what I'm watching and things like that. And like I said, we get some feedback from younger listeners calling us morons and idiots and all that. I'll post something about the Madison and put up a couple pictures. I'll get 1,000 likes, 200 comments, and I'm like going back and forth with these people. And then I'll like take a step back and look. Speaking of 68-year-old women, it's mainly me and a bunch of 68-year-old women going back and forth talking about, I thought it was a great storyline. It was very sad. It needs more love interest.
And as
That's
I've
my
said for
biggest
years,
that's my people, baby.
you are in your element when you're hanging out with old women.
I mean, look, me and old Gertrude go back and forth a few times talking about how we don't like those daughters. It's a long story, Greg. You got to get on it. Kurt Russell's in it, man. It's a great
I'm
show.
I'm coming, man. I with
You and
kids and
Haley sit down
baseball
and
and
watch it.
wife, I don't know how you don't like. We just don't watch TV that much, I guess.
I have no life, Greg. I wake up, I go to work in the middle of the night, I come home, and until 11:30, I ain't got nothing to do, so I'll watch a show, and
That
that's
makes
where I
sense.
watch the Madison. Then it's damn baseball practice every night, which when you listen back to the show, you realize all the dumb stuff you said. I mentioned it being a hard game on Saturday. It was a tough win. It wasn't a win. We lost. We got our asses handed to us, but we did make up for it on Monday. We got another tough game tomorrow, but I say a lot of things that don't make any damn sense.
Yeah, well, that's why I decided to get you on the show because you're saying stuff that makes no sense, makes me look a whole lot better.
Listen, you did that on purpose. You're like, who can I get on here that not only sounds like he talks with a weird lisp, he's got a little crooked eye and he barely knows what the hell he's talking about to make me look better. And you thought of me, which I appreciate, but I'm like, Andy Wood have been there too. Could have brought Andy on. Andy, probably a little smarter than me. He's smart. He married well. I'll give him that.
Yeah, I think we would have a hard time reining Andy in. Like at least you and I can somewhat sort of stay on the rails. Like we both love Andy to death. And Andy, if you're out there, man, I miss you. Let's get together to have a beer and catch up, brother. But Andy could go down some rabbit holes that I think you and I'd both be sitting there scratching our heads, going, I don't even know how to respond to this.
I love it. Andy's my boy. Greg, is there anything else you want to cover? I know you mentioned about if true. I mean, I hope it is, but there's possible talks of not peace necessarily, but some resolution when it comes to this Iranian war in the next coming days. If you listen to Trump, that is.
Yeah, I know we talk a lot about how hard it is these days to know what's real and what you can genuinely trust. And I want to be optimistic and I want to look at this and I want to believe that maybe this is so hard to fathom because this is just the most transparent like leadership we've seen. And they're kind of just telling us exactly step by step, here's where we are, here's what's going on. If what I'm hearing and reading, if my understanding of the current situation is that, hey, we're still dropping bombs and we're still blowing stuff up, but we're saying, hey, but we're not messing with your major infrastructure. We're giving you some room to keep your societal stuff moving, keep the engineering and stuff intact, and not totally ruin the entirety of civilization over there. Do you guys want to play ball? Do you want to work with us? Do you want to come to our terms and operate like we're telling you to operate? If that's true, and I have no idea, no way to verify it, just like none of y'all do, if that is the current situation that we are trying to negotiate while still showing off our power, to me, that's perfect. Put them in a position, go, hey, look, we'll stop the moment you tell us you're willing to comply. And I know that that sounds harsh and that sounds like we're the big bullies. Well, that's the reality of the situation. We are the big bullies in the world. And right now, we have to be the grown-ups, and that's what we're doing. We're being the parents, and we're telling the kids either behave, and you can come to dinner, or stay in your room for a little while longer.
Well, sadly, there's a lot on the left that will listen and want to believe the Iranians more than they will their own president of their own country, which, it is what it is. But I, I feel like a lot of times they're almost rooting for the other side, wanting to make something bad happen. Like they're
There
pulling
is
for
no
this war. They're
almost.
pulling for $4 gas. They want it so bad. They're like, please, please give us 4.30 gas before the midterm so we can win. They don't care what it affects people. They just want it to be a disruptive, just like they do this TSA agents. Well, they refuse
They
to open it back up.
they cannot even comprehend the totality of their behaviors. But yes, like you can witness their behaviors, and it's obvious the left, they hate America. They do not want us to be successful. They want to tear all of this down so it has to be rebuilt. Yeah, the Homeland Security, the TSA stuff, all of this, it is just to make a mess. It's just to create some pressure points and some intensity because that's how they get a reaction.
I don't want to believe it's that extreme to where they hate America. I just think they hate right America. That's for damn sure. Listen, Trump will say some, he'll throw some stuff out there like we talked about. We're quick to criticize. He even mentioned yesterday that he said, "Oh, I can't talk about it, but they gave me quite the present, very expensive presents. We can't talk about it, but it involves oil and gas, but I can't talk about it." I'm like, well, stop talking about it. If you can't tell us what it is, don't keep bringing it up. First off, I don't know if you're supposed to be accepting gifts. You made it sound as if you're accepting a personal gift. Is this another plane from Qatar or something? But he was throwing that out there, and I was like, dude, stop. If you can't tell us the whole story, don't tease us.
Well, that goes back to, the major underlying issue of the Epstein files. I mean, we have heard about this massive bombshell for 10 damn years or longer, and they have told us essentially what it is. And now we're just still sitting on this bomb, and it's like, is it ever going to explode? Is it ever going to go off and us find out? And look, I will take the chance, and I know that a lot of folks that know how we vote, know what we support, just assume we want to cover it up. We're trying to protect our. No, I want it all out there. I don't care who's involved, right, left, down the middle. I don't care. I just want to know the truth because at the end of the day, if I know who these people are, I can adjust and I can make my decisions accordingly. I ain't trying to cover up for nobody. If Donald Trump is in that, if there's evidence of him doing something with a kid, I want to know because I want to know it right now so I can change my opinion of him.
Yeah, they keep throwing out, oh, he was charged with rape. I'm like, no, he wasn't. He was charged with sexual battery or whatever you want to call it. I guess they said he fingered some chick, that E. Jean Carroll,
And
in
the
a
moment you call him a 34-time felony, you lose all credibility with me
yes,
because
it's not the
anyone with
case.
half a lick of a brain cell knows that that was 34 counts of paying his lawyer and inappropriately coding what the check was for. And I'm sorry, I don't know what the law is, but if I write a check to my lawyer, I'm probably coding it legal fees regardless of what it's for, just because that's common sense to me. So the fact that they turned this into some judicial circus and made it into a 34 count felony. It's total bullshit. We all know it's bullshit. They all know it's bullshit, and they're still trying to sell it. So the moment somebody drops that bomb, I'm out. I ain't listening no more.
I agree. They want to throw it out there like, oh, 34 different felonies. No, it's the same thing that you find 34 different ways to say it, and it's the exact same thing. And it was past this date of which you could be charged with it. They somehow find a way to open it back up. E. Jean Carroll, go listen to her right after she won all this money. Just listen to her interview, and you tell me if you think she's believable. If she's one of those that's really truly was harmed from this. Get out of here with that mess. But like you said, if there's anything, there's not gonna be like they're like, oh, the Epstein list. Unless he was working for Israel, as some would say, like he was a agent, why would he write down specifically details of everybody's name, what's taking place, what's doing, like the whole Bill Gates getting I need to get some can you send me some medication so I can sneak it to Melinda with this Russian hooker that I was messing with? I'm like, you wanna tell me Bill Gates can't get his own medication for, sexual transmitted disease? He ain't gotta go to you.
One of the podcasters I follow daily is Michael Knowles, and I got to give him full credit. This is not my thought, but he says, and I can't summarize it perfectly, but essentially the whole deal with Epstein is one of two things. Either he is who they say he is, and he's just some super rich pedophile that's connected to all these other super rich people, and they were just running sex scheme, and he was blackmailing for money. If that's who he is, we already know that, right? Like we know that about him. Or it's the other thing, and he was some sort of super spy working for all these different six-letter agencies and all this stuff. And if that's the case, you'll never know that. Those are the two options.
Sadly, you're right. They may both be true. Who knows? One of them's definitely true in the fact that he's a pervert, pedophile, crazy man. But the other part, we don't know. I guess we'll find out. Who
I
knows? I
don't
thought we
think
was
we
gonna
ever.
find out with JFK stuff, and they released all that, and you're like, we didn't really get nothing. Richard B. Russell, by the way, was one of the main guys on the Warren Commission, and now he's named after one of y'all streets down there, ain't he? Or interstate? What is it?
Yeah, Russell Parkway down in Warner Robins.
Now you know. You can be like, hey, he was part of the Warren Commission and the Kennedy shooting that took place afterwards that was led by Lyndon Johnson had put up and basically faked all those files and or hid them and lied about the fact that some would say Lyndon B. Johnson ended up having them killed. I don't know. Could have been the Cubans.
Yeah,
Russians could possibly be involved. The mob. It's a bunch of them.
I think as we wrap up today, I think the the thought is, I used to believe that if I heard it or read it, I'd believe about half of it. But if I saw it with my own eyes, I could believe it entirely. I think these days, if you hear it or read it, don't believe it at all. And if you see it with your own eyes, you give it about a 50-50 chance of being real.
Don't believe nothing you see, nothing you hear, and only half of what you see. That's what I've always been told. But about the transparency, we are very transparent. And then the left is coming out upset with Trump because he didn't tell us he was going to war, and he don't tell us why we're going to end it and all that. I'm like, why would he come out and tell you that if that's the case? If he had a great plan, why would he tell you? Do you think that they don't have CNN in Iran? Like, come on, bro. If he tells you, hey, don't say nothing, but this is what we're going to do, that'd be the first ones to yell out and go get it. So don't come at him for hiding some information. There may be stuff we don't know. But that's it. Episode 20. Are we at 22? Emmett Smith?
Man, this one got so off the rails early with the quadriplegic, drive-by shooter that I lost track of everything from that point on.
Let's go with episode 22. Let's go with Emmett Smith, baby, or Tim McKyer. How about that for a Falcon throwback? 22.
Old school.
In the books, episode 22. Coming up on Jordan, baby. 23 coming up next. Go check out our socials. Go interact with us, please. Check out YouTube channel, Greg's TikTok, which we probably should have the handle on, and my TikTok. I'm slowly starting to become more TikTok guy. I mean, I'm trying to work at it. You've got the lead on me in that. You're the champ when it comes to that, and I'm working my way up, baby. Posting here and there.
Well, I think you and I both know if we work together, we can certainly create some interaction, and both of the followers will go up pretty quick.
Yeah, I love it. Greg's podcast.
Beliefs, ballots, and bets. We will have an episode coming out later today. We took a little break while I was in the mountains, and with college basketball off, I wasn't real comfortable with the NBA yet, but I got my NBA model, I think, dialed in. So we'll have some plays come out today. Opening day of baseball season. Excited about that. Man, it's a fun time to be alive. It's a little crazy, and we don't know what's real or what's not, but it's fun to talk about with you every day, and can't wait till the episode on Friday.
Go get the stories. Go get the betting tips. Go get the beliefs. He does a great job. And listen, we totally understand. You're like, wait a minute, betting and that. It's the day and age we live in. For all have sinned and fell short of the glory of God. But Greg has a great way of putting it together and has a little advice there at the end, a little knowledge, and you can win a little money and then put it in your ties if you feel guilty about it. I mean, put it in there. Bump that 10% up to about 12% once he gives you the trifecta. Is that a betting term I can say? Trifecta?
Trifecta is a horse racing term. It is.
Look at there. I know that. Quinella.
Yeah.
I know it from dog racing terms is what short of Alabama we used to go.
Those work too. Dog racing is fun, man.
It is. Listen, with Greg and I, you got an exacta. I don't know. I made that part up, but I think it is one, but I still made it up. That's it. Episode 22 in the books. Go check us out. Subscribe. Spread the word around. Appreciate all the love. Interact. Listen, if you don't want to do it in public, just come in a private. Just send us a private message and say, hey, I'm watching the show, but I don't want people to know I do. I don't blame you. I don't want them to know either. I get it. But just check us out. Appreciate it. Greg, anything else?
Just the usual, man. Y'all be nice to each other. Get in your Bibles, say your prayers, and let's all tell the truth as much as possible.
Amen. Peace.